2. For any of my returning viewers, welcome back. For any new viewers, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to be doing an oil change on my 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10 GSR. Yeah, it's a mouthful to say in one little breath there. We're going to be doing an oil change on this today. So I was using Castrol for about 15 years. They were a good oil. Then I reached out to them as I started the YouTube channel, and I'm starting with now that I have my Evo and I'm starting to do upgrades on it. I like to support the brands that help me do what I do and what I love doing. So I've contacted the different companies for the different manufacturer components that I've got on the car, and most of them I haven't had any problem getting them to send me out a batch of stickers to put on the car. And I'm not talking about sponsorship, just I like supporting the brands that I use. So I haven't any problem. They've sent me, I've got stickers y'all see in a few of my videos, and you can see in my banner that I don't have any problem getting these stickers for most of them. Castrol told me I needed to go buy them, and I've found that a little odd considering everybody else has been sending them to me no problem, no questions asked even. And I contacted AMSOIL after talking to Castrol, and AMSOIL said no problem, and we'll even send you out a set of magnets, because I told them how I convert the vinyls and stickers over to magnets, because I don't like putting vinyls or stickers on my car. And I got the magnets in from them. So then I went to AMSOIL, got a paid membership, which if you want to go and get a premium membership, which will give you a 25% off discount with AMSOIL, you can click here, and that'll take you in as my referral for a premium. And here soon I'm probably also going to go ahead and upgrade my premium to be an AMSOIL dealer, as when I reached out to a couple of the other AMSOIL dealers that were in the area, they're not very good at getting back to people. I like working with people. I like meeting new people. I like talking to people. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel. I like talking to people. So figure maybe I can be the AMSOIL dealer that'll actually respond if you email me. So another topic, another day. We're going to be using AMSOIL Signature Series 5W30 for the oil. I've got 5 quarts. You need 4.7 for the Evo 10. Then I've got the Evo X oil filter for this oil change. My following oil changes, I'll be using the AMSOIL oil filter. And no, this isn't a sponsored video by AMSOIL. That's just the oil I'm switching over to. And they've got oils for everything I do. For my guns, for my Harley, for my car, for the old ladies, SUV. AMSOIL's got everything covered, from transmissions to differentials. You get the idea. If there's any lubricant or fluid that you need for a vehicle, even your antifreeze, brake fluids, power steering fluids, octane boost, you're getting the idea here. AMSOIL's got it all. I'd much rather just order everything from one company than having to chase around the different companies and all that. So that's what I'm doing there. So the other things that you're going to need to do this oil change is you're going to need an oil catch pan. You're going to need either a set of ramps, or you're going to need a set of jack stands, a jack, which depending on the height of your cars, whether you're going to need a standard jack like you can just go pick up at AutoZone, or whether you might need to order a low profile jack depending on how low to the ground your car sits. Then one thing that I've seen a number of people forget is you need a wheel chock or a chock block. What that is that's something that you can put behind your wheel to keep it from rolling. So if you know you're not on a perfectly level surface, and even if you are, once you jack up the front end of your vehicle, it's not going to be level. So it's going to have a tendency to want to roll backwards. So setting your e-brake is a safety thing you can do to help prevent that from happening. But I always recommend, because anything mechanical, whether it's physical or electrical, can fail. So to ensure that I don't have to worry about that failure, I usually will set the e-brake before I jack it up. I'll set the chock block before I jack it up. Then I'll jack my vehicle up. That way it can't roll backwards on me, because the last thing I want is my car to land on top of me. I don't think any of my viewers or any of my family or friends would enjoy that either. So now that we've covered the safety things that you've got to do, we've covered what you need to do the job, then let's go ahead and get to the process. So first things first, having a good jack point and getting the jack up. Let's do that. But first I'm going to make sure my jack is locked. Now we'll start getting her jacked up. Alright, so next step is get the jack stands under here. Alright, so we've got the vehicle up on a jack stand. I forgot to mention you will also need a 10mm wrench. That's because we got to take off these little screws that hold the cover plate or protector plate on the bottom of the motor. And there we go. One more screw. That's the excess panel removed. Alright. So this is what you got to do to get to your oil filter that's right here and your drain plug back here. Now let me show you what those look like. So here's the oil filter, and the good thing is we can see that it also doesn't have any leaks, so we know that's good and sealed. And right here is the drain plug, which again, no leaking, that's good. So now let's get this thing draining. Alright, so we've got the 17mm wrench that we need. Alright, we got that broke. Now, make sure our pan's positioned right. There we go. And that's how you get her to drain. Now, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch the whole thing drain, so I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so the next thing we got to do is take off the old oil filter. So for that, we're going to take the cup adapter here, fit that on there. Stick my socket in there. Break that loose. Now let's get this off and into the pan. Alright, there's the last of the oil in the system. So now we need to prep the oil filter that we're going to put on there. And some people might say, what? You can't just take it out of the box and put it on? Well, you can, but you're taking a risk when you do that. So let's get to the canister prep and then we'll move forward. Alright YouTube, so next thing we need to do is get this filter prepped. So there's the filter. This is the 57092. If I can get the camera to focus. But alright, anyway. So You'll notice oil filters have a gasket here. This one is crimped in pretty good. Then these are your holes where the oil goes in. This is where the oil comes out. So something I like to do, and it's argumentative depending on who you ask, is put some of the oil on there to make sure that it seals good. And I like to put some inside the canister before I put it on too. There's some in. Now, see, we got some in there. Got this good and oiled down. Ready to put it back on. Alright, so before I put the filter on, I'm going to get up here, clean this off some. Let's get the old oil off of it, make sure there's no particulates or anything on it. There's that. Now we'll take the new canister. Now we got that tightened down. You can tighten it from this point with a tool, but I usually don't. I can usually get it tight enough by hand that I don't need to worry about a tool. Alright, so that's the filter on. Next, we're going to get this cleaned up. We're going to check, make sure the seal's good on it. Then we're going to put that back in. Alright, so we've looked at this. There's not any scoring or anything on the gasket or seal. Still looks good. So now we're going to get this started. Now one of the things I want to make a note of for both your filter and your drain plug is when you first start screwing them in, if you've got resistance, then you probably don't have it threaded right, so don't try to force it. Back it out and try again, because they should pretty much just spin on. If you just spin them, they should go in pretty much on their own. Alright, there's that. Snug down. Alright. Now, we should be good under here. Let's get top side. Alright, so now we've got the new oil filter on. We've got the drain plug back in. Now, let's fill her up. So one of the other things I like to do whenever I do this is when I first get that off, I like to clean this out, making sure not to get any of these particulates into the motor. There we go, that's all nice and cleaned off. Put my funnel in so I don't make a mess. Yeah, let's get to pouring. There's one. All right, that's good for now. All right, that's got the oil in there. All right, now let's start this up. See how she sounds with the new oil. I'm going to let this run a minute and warm up. Then let it drain back down so we can check the oil. Be right back when we get done with that. Alright, so I've already gone and put the cover plate back on the bottom. After I checked, there's no leaks from the drain plug, there's no leaks from the oil filter, so we're good on that. Now, let's see how we're doing on our oil level. So, we're actually just above the full mark. A clean, fresh dip here. All right. Yep. Actually, we're just below the fill mark, so the full mark. So I got it pretty spot on. All right, now keep in mind when you're filling this that you can always add more oil, but you can't really take out oil unless you want to drain the system or unless you've got a pump. Because there are pumps, like Automotive makes one, that you can actually pump the oil back out of the same hole that you use the dipstick on. So you can use that to check it, but ideally it's just best to know that if you're using 5 individual quarts, if you're looking at the ounces on the bottle, if you put in the 4, then on the 5th one you put it in to right around the 7 to 8 ounce mark, then you should be spot on for the amount of oil you need. So now let's go to the wrap up. And I want to throw in a note here at the end. So remember how I went all over all the safety stuff you need to do when you're jacking up a car? Well, let me show you why. Because while we were doing the oil change, it was a good thing I had the jack stand under the car. So let's get a view of what it looks like when you do put the jack stand under like you're supposed to. If you can kind of see, and let's come around here to a little better angle. The jack stand is holding the car. The jack isn't touching the car. So, if we'd been doing this and didn't have the jack stand under there, it could have been a bad day. This just proves you can't always rely on hydraulic jacks, but you can trust your jack stand. Well, that about wraps it up for today. So we went through what do you need to do the old job, which there was a couple additions to that, but all the tools that you need will be down in the description below. Then we went through taking off the little guard plate that they have under there, taking off the drain plug. We went over taking off the oil filter. We went over prepping your new oil filter, putting on the new oil filter, cleaning the drain plug, checking the gasket on the drain / washer on the drain plug, and we went over putting it back in. Then we went over filling up the motor. Then I always recommend that you start the vehicle, let it warm all the oil up a little bit, see if your oil light comes on. If your oil light comes on, then obviously you haven't added enough oil yet. So let it run for a little bit, then you'd let it sit for about 10 to 20 minutes for all the oil to settle back down into the oil pan. Once all the oil is settled, then you can pull your dipstick and check your oil level. And keep in mind when it comes to filling up with oil that you can always add more oil, but kind of hard to take oil out if you put in too much. So it's better to go a little under and just add a little bit at a time till you get to that proper oil level than it is to try to just dump it all in and then see if you can take out enough to balance it back out. So if there's any questions you have, any extra comments, please feel free to leave those down below. If you like what you saw, then please feel free to click on the subscribe. And if you want to know when my next video comes out, don't forget about the little bell down here that will let you get notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. God bless, and have a great day.